Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day. To start things off, it's going to be a very weird news day, so buckle up folks. The past week, Bitcoin made an attempt to gain strength above the $7,300 area against the US dollar. However, Bitcoin failed to continue higher above the $7,300 area and formed a top at $7,310. As a result, there was a fresh decline below $7,200 to $7,000. There was also a close between the $7,000 level and the 55 simple moving average. The decline was such that the price traded lower, 6,800, and a lowest formed near 67.44. This one says, Ethereum's price analysis, Ethereum to the US dollar, make or break dilemma. Is 200 achievable in April? This one says XRP poised to extend losses below 18 cents. Here's why. This one says Bitcoin uptrend in jeopardy. There we go. As two extremely bearish fractals flash. So you might remember about a good 2 days ago, a lot of the news that we were getting was about the optimism and awesomeness of the cryptocurrency market and network and system and economy and how great it was going to do and how things were going to move up. I've noticed, and I'm pretty sure you've noticed as well, a lot of people were asking before why things kind of change on a day-to-day basis. I don't know. It's a very good question. I think a lot of it has to do with not singling anyone out. It's more like these things change day to day. I think myself personally, a lot of people, this is me, a lot of people, myself, what I believe, a lot of people who are writing these articles, once again me, is that I think a lot of people don't understand the point of the cryptocurrency market. And a lot of times I think it's just, how do I say this? I think it's easy to kind of follow a trend, if you will. Whenever we get actual good price news as to where prices are going to go, it's usually because things are fine, things are okay, things are the way that they were before, if I can kind of say that. On the other side of it, whenever we get negative news of any sort about anywhere in the world, I think any type of reaction to price or movement down cryptocurrency-wise then results in negative articles coming out or about cryptocurrencies and how they could potentially fall further. Case in point, the news that we had yesterday about the negative $38 barrel of oil and how there was simply no more space. People were paying other people to hold them, etc., etc. And therefore, the cryptocurrency market also seemingly fell in tandem with the prices of oil. No one knows for certain if it actually fell in tandem with it because before we've seen that whales have a very massive effect on the market. And once again, I think it would be foolish to think that there are people who are in the traditional markets who are also not then also in the cryptocurrency space. So one can only assume, me, myself, that when prices go down in one market, that it does not directly affect the cryptocurrency market, but it could just be a sell-off based off of whales doing it, and therefore fear sets in that the rest of the cryptocurrency market could go down as well, if that makes any sense. One of the articles I read, I think sometime right before I went to bed, they were discussing how we see seemingly Bitcoin and the wider cryptocurrency market, or even just more so Bitcoin because it's the main magnet, moving down whenever there seems to be anything negative in the news, but it's never a hyper negative drop, if that kind of makes any sense. A lot of people assume that the cryptocurrency market is relatively flimsy, and at the drop of a dime, a drop of a hat, during a quick movement, that crypto will completely collapse. But what we've seen is that even when we have massive downfalls, such as the price of oil once again going down, or the Dow Jones or the S&P 500, or any type of Asian market or European market not faring very well, it's always expected that Bitcoin, and therefore the cryptocurrency market, will also dip a lot further as well. But we have not really seen this. The only indication that we have or have seen from this is the 12th and 13th of March. But the price for some reason fell down to, it was 7,000, fell down to 3,500, and then about an hour later, it was above 6,000 all over again, which means to me that was a coordinated drop, or it was seemingly, when I see things like that, especially when they don't hold, if we had dropped to 3,500 and we were still around 36, 37 to this point right now, I'll go, okay, something fundamentally must be a problem. There must be an issue. Something must be wrong. Or it could simply be that someone saw a dip in the stock market, decided to sell off en masse in the cryptocurrency market, assuming that people within the cryptocurrency market will also be afraid. But what ended up happening was they sold off, other people bought up, and yeah, that's all she wrote. Anyway, so the price news for this morning, if you will, I don't want to say it's negative. It's just not very optimistic at the moment. And I just think a lot of it really has to do with the fact that the last couple of days, a lot of other agencies, a lot of other banks have released grim warnings as to what they believe the future of traditional markets will be and how long this will continue. I've seen indications that the ripples from what's currently going on will echo, I don't know what words to use, until the year 2022, 2023, that we will still see, you know how like we saw in 2008, 2009, we were still feeling the effects of it around 2013, 2014. Joblessness was down. Is joblessness a word? Anyway, job rates were down. A lot of people were still struggling, et cetera, et cetera. You saw all the documentaries about people not really doing that well around that time. So it'll kind of be the exact same thing, especially if this ends up going on for a relatively long amount of time. And I think just a lot of that, there's before in the past, we've seen that there weren't many correlations. And it's really funny because I think one of the things that I'm going to have up here, yeah, I think something up here also talks about the actual price trend of the cryptocurrency market and where things go. And keeping in mind, just something to keep into the front or the back of your head, when you have situations where you have people like Kelly Loeffler, who is the former head of Bakkt, who I believe is now a U.S. senator, whose husband runs the New York Stock Exchange, and she used to run Bakkt. She clearly, once again, her and her husband, I assume another circle of friends, have their hands in the cookie jar. So if it's possible on some level to manipulate and or move the stock market, one can only assume that they know the means or have the metrics for, or someone else understands how they could move the cryptocurrency market in either direction that they want. So anyway, I could really go on forever about my speculations as to where I think a lot of this is coming from. I think a lot of the movements are completely fraudulent. Other people tell me otherwise. Other people tell me to look at the charts. But the charts haven't made any sense this entire year. Like, once again, I'm pretty sure now, you know, don't be that one person in the comment section to tell me that you saw this in the charts. There was no indication that we were going to see a drop down to 3,500 and then minutes later be back above 6,000. You didn't see it. I didn't see it. No one saw it. These are just movements done by whales. It's a lot easier to move the cryptocurrency space, especially when we have a lot less liquidity than other world markets. So I think any major movements that we have down are usually unwarranted. What's the other word? Undone? People aren't doing them. It's just very rich people who are trying to move the price down for their own benefit in some sort of way, whatever might be going through their rich minds. Anyway, that's the price news. A lot of it is saying that we could be in a dilemma, extended losses, uptrends in jeopardy. But I assume if by the end of this week, what day is it? I have no idea. That all the days just blend together at this point. Is it really Wednesday? Holy crap. All right. By the time we get to, I give it Friday or Saturday, expect a lot of happier price news. Just an assumption, based off if we don't end up moving down as a market. If we start seeing green, expect more good news, because that's just kind of how the news works. Anyway, yeah. Let's move on. Next up, Weiss Ratings is in the news. Weiss Ratings, the world's only financial rating agency providing grades on cryptocurrency. Yeah, that's actually true. It's them and the Chinese government. The Chinese government, they kind of released their own ratings, but I think Weiss is actually the only one doing it. That's kind of weird. Weiss Ratings has announced it's hosting a free webinar for users on the next major cryptocurrency bull run. According to a page promoting the webinar, in its Weiss Ratings team, the Weiss Ratings team, wow, my gosh, will be looking into what they believed Okay, this whoever wrote this is not. No. In it, the Weiss Ratings team will be looking into why they believe a major cryptocurrency bull run is just weeks away. Nailed it. And why the imminent rally is unique and will be greater than any other. The webinar will look into 8 cryptocurrencies Weiss Ratings believes users should avoid, and into the cryptocurrencies that they think could be worthwhile investments. It's not just me, words are missing here, per the ratings agency. In the materials, Weiss Ratings founder, Dr. Martin Weiss, he said, by building powerful computer systems that analyze each coin in 4 unique ways, we are able to identify which cryptocurrencies have real market potential versus the overhyped coins that are doomed to fail. Wow, powerful words. Per the materials, the Weiss Ratings teams built a powerful new system that helps investors time their crypto trades by helping them look into when to buy and sell and when, Timing the market will also reportedly be covered in the free webinar. Earlier this year, as the Crypto Globe reported, Weiss Ratings upgraded Bitcoin's overall rating to an A-, which is considered excellent after conducting a comprehensive, balanced overview of all factors based on complex algorithms. The price ahead of Bitcoin's having and improving fundamentals are supported by the upgrade. I looked around. I couldn't find this information. I checked. Even this link sends you to their page. But I think the webinar took place like last night. And for some reason I assume it was like a you got to sign up for it kind of thing. But I'll keep looking to see exactly which cryptocurrencies Weiss thinks have crazy market potential or are just overhyped coins that are doomed to fail. I'm pretty sure that would start a few conversations in the comments section, because I can only imagine which coins they would even have listed as overhyped coins, and I'm pretty sure everyone would love to hear that. Anyway, it's mainly Weiss and the Chinese government that are releasing information on which or whether their crypto rankings, but to actually, I don't know, to outright say kind of that Weiss thinks that there will be a major cryptocurrency bull run in the next couple of weeks. Keeping in mind they use the word weeks and not months. I don't think they meant like 48 weeks. That'd be really funny if they did. They're like, yeah, dude, it's weeks away. And they meant like 128 weeks, because it technically would be then weeks away. Anyway, I'll try and look for the list and tell you which coins they think are going to do the best during this rally. I find stuff like this interesting. Yeah. Here's the one I was talking about. Here we go. For the words. There we go. A report released by the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas is trying to shed some light on Bitcoin's price hikes. According to the report, Bitcoin is not as wild as people might think, and it's constantly reacting to news related to regulatory actions like bans on crypto or securities laws, which I also have my own ideas about. The study was conducted using a standard and event study methodology from 1996 to assess the impact of news events on the price of Bitcoin as well as on other cryptocurrencies. There's a little chart right here. This one says Zuckerberg's testimony on Libra, listing application event. Sure. They said we find that favorable events coincide on average with a 0.33% return in the 120 minutes around the event, left-hand panel, and a 1.52% return on the 24-hour window around them. Unfavorable events are associated with a 0.32 and a 3.21 lower return over similar windows, respectively. So you're saying that good news causes the price to rise and bad news causes the price to drop. My mind is blown. The study has also examined the price of Bitcoin over long periods of time. According to the paper, Bitcoin highly favors a defined legal status. That's also false. And its price reacts positively even on longer periods of time. Bitcoin doesn't care. Bitcoin's a computer system. Bitcoin exists on the internet, and Bitcoin is digital. Bitcoin is not a person. Bitcoin does not breathe. Bitcoin does not have any of the major attributes that make up a human or a thinking being. Bitcoin is a monetary system. It is a decentralized peer-to-peer network that allows people to send money and value around the world in real time. A lot, and I understand the nuances of what they're saying. Like, I understand that they mean like the Bitcoin's price moves or reacts positively. However, it has to do with people who are in control of the market. And I've seen people before in the comment section say, well, I don't like cryptocurrency market because it's controlled, it's manipulated. I have crazy news for you that's going to blow your mind. Wait for it. Wait for it. Are you ready? Every single market is manipulated. Every single one. No matter what market you're in, no matter what market you think you might not be in, no matter what you buy, the clothing market's manipulated, the shoes market's manipulated, the trade around the world for you getting your stuff inside of a store is manipulated, the counterfeit market is manipulated, the art market's manipulated, real estate, gold, silver, palladium. It doesn't matter what you name, it's all manipulated. There's a reason why we have these discussions about the richest people in the world controlling all the markets, because they control the markets. So even remember the entire thing that we had before. For those of you who were not here, good, it says it right here. Bitcoin ETF, what great timing. The entire discussion that we had before in 2018 that we were told by Coinbase, the Gemini twins, and a bunch of other rich people is that we needed, and I don't mean like we would do good with one, is that we needed a Bitcoin ETF in order for Bitcoin's price to move upwards. If we didn't have an ETF, they were expecting Bitcoin to go back down to 1,000. Bitcoin would simply crash. We needed the institutional support in order for the market to move. Every single time that we got an ETF rejection, the price of Bitcoin would go down, and everyone was like, why is Bitcoin going down? And this is when I started talking about it. It has nothing to do, like, Bitcoin itself doesn't breathe and react. Bitcoin isn't sitting there in a onesie watching the news going, oh gosh, they're not going to approve an ETF for me. Bitcoin doesn't care. Bitcoin doesn't react to these actual things. It's the people behind the scenes who realize, okay, this is negative news and therefore Bitcoin's price should be going down, so I'm going to start to sell off. If you are a big enough whale and you sell off enough, other people will also start to sell off. The Bitcoin fundamentals did not change. When Zuckerberg or anyone from Libra announced that Libra was launching, Bitcoin didn't suddenly become better or worse. And the same exact thing during the testimony when all the people were asking Zuckerberg if Libra was going to destroy the US dollar. All of these things have no, it's just the human effect on the market and what humans believe other humans will actually do during these actual events that end up causing the markets to end up moving. They go on to, I mean, it kind of goes on to say, especially with the entire idea that Bitcoin favors a defined legal status, it doesn't. It has to do with the new people who've gone into the cryptocurrency space, and these may also very well be whales and or people who are trading large sums of money. As I mentioned before, there's a big difference in you making a couple of trades, or at the end of the year, if you've made 3, 4, 5,000 off of your cryptocurrency trades and or Bitcoin's price going up, bam, cool, that's amazing. On the other side, if you are trading hundreds of millions or making 20 million during a month on your trades, that has something, it's very different tax-wise when it comes to the legal status. And this is why when we talk about it being favored, it just has to do with really rich people who are trying to figure out exactly how much they pay so that they don't get in trouble with taxes. That is basically it. So every single time that, I mean, it's a shame. It's actually a real shame. And we're never going to get back to where we were before. As far as people really understanding the actual idea behind Bitcoin and what Bitcoin is for, and why Bitcoin just doesn't really care about any of these things. Yeah, it just kind of is what it is. So here's the actual thing from them, from the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas. I'm not going to read all of that. And I was going to open up the actual PDF, but you had to download it. And I was like, I'd rather not download something onto my computer. It is fascinating to note, I guess, that a Federal Reserve is actually, not that they're looking into cryptocurrencies, but that they've done research as far as like the price actions of Bitcoin. Because even a fragment of this has to do with the fact that they're probably doing research to see if at some point Bitcoin could or would become popular enough to usurp the US dollar. They're not doing this because they think it's cool. I'm pretty sure there are tons of other things that have come out around the last 10 years that have also in some sort of way said that they were going to overtake the US dollar or beat the US dollar. There's a reason why it's specifically against Bitcoin and this actual price movements, which I still think are, like I said, everything is manipulated, but it's just kind of, you have to, what's the phrase? You have to pick or choose your poison. Which manipulated market do you want to be in? And which do you see having the longest term prospects? Anyway, yeah, I don't think, like, especially with the decreased amount of volatility that we have in the market, I think the market's a lot more stable. I think the market is very depressed price-wise. I think we should be a lot higher. We know that people are accumulating in mass, and this is happening over the counter. I don't know if people just keep missing those videos. When we get news that there's hundreds of millions of dollars and if not billions of dollars flowing into the cryptocurrency space and the prices aren't moving, it's happening over the counter. That means that people are going, imagine instead of going onto Coinbase.com, just as very simplified. Imagine instead of trading on Coinbase.com, you have $100 million in Tether. You decide to buy $100 million in Bitcoin. The moment you do that, the price is going to spike. That's how cryptocurrency trading works. On the other hand, imagine you have a suitcase or a briefcase, however fancy you want to be. You walk into Coinbase directly into the actual office with $100 million in the suitcase. And you go, I want to buy 100 million worth of Bitcoin. It doesn't happen directly on the cryptocurrency exchange. They give you 100 million worth of Bitcoin from their cold storage. And the price movements and fluctuations in the actual buy order never hits the cryptocurrency exchange. This is how you can accumulate massive amounts of cryptocurrencies without affecting the actual price. I saw people arguing about a day or two ago, and I wanted to step in, and I was like, no, I just wasn't in the mood, to be completely honest, because I feel like, I don't know if people are, no, I don't think people are being trolls, air quotes. I think people just simply really don't get so many fundamentals of actual, I mean, even like basics of markets, and this is why I always say, do your own research, because it's important to know, like, even just the basics, like why prices wouldn't move during an over-the-counter sale. Anyway, yes, I forgot where I was. The point is, I guess that was it. I think my brain just shut off so that I couldn't kind of go any further. Anyway, yeah. Let's move on. Next up. The Central Bank of the Netherlands, the Nederlandse Bank, I think I said that right, says it wants to be a world leader in the development of central bank digital currencies. Wow, good for them. In a bulletin posted on Tuesday, the bank said that the use of physical cash is clearly declining in the Netherlands, meaning that people are using less central bank issued money to buy things. Yeah, I don't remember, every time I'm in the Netherlands, I don't remember using cash. It's kind of like tap your card. A question that naturally springs to mind is whether central banks should provide a new type of money that is better attuned to the needs of citizens and firms. A central bank digital currency could promote diversity in the payments market, in addition to making cross-border payments more efficient, said the bank. Perhaps more importantly, it could help foster trust in the monetary systems in times of uncertainty. That's where you're kind of wrong. The moment it's difficult, we've had this conversation now, I'll give you a good 15-second overview. It's very difficult during a mass panic. If people start bank runs, run to the bank, try to take their money out, or simply just start hoarding their money at home or taking, their cash, putting it under mattresses, what have you. This is a possibility now. However, in a world where everything is digital and it is completely centralized, whether you have your money on a card, whether you have your money on an app, we have been warned before by other people within the cryptocurrency space, and I remember a couple of other articles as well. If there happens to be a recession, if there happens to be a depression, if prices of something so-and-so happens to be going down, your money, in essence, would be able to completely be siphoned directly from your account, and you wouldn't have any say on it. You couldn't do a bank run because your money is already directly controlled through the app, so the moment you couldn't move your money anywhere without the government actually knowing, because everything would be completely controlled. So that foster the trust thing is choosing my words lightly. The freedom to exchange commercial bank money for central bank money is essential to preserve because it helps maintain the essential trust that people have in the monetary system. But they don't have trust in the system. That's why, despite the potential risks, the bank says it has a positive attitude towards central bank digital currencies. This means that they've been talking about this for a while, and they are trying to figure out exactly how to get things under control. Central bank digital currencies are often touted as a way for you and your friends and your family to be able to have more control over your money, to foster trust in the system, to have an easier way to send money around the world at a quicker, faster, awesome pace. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with control. Everything about money always has to do with control, especially in the same exact way that you are probably investing in cryptocurrencies to also have in some way more control over your life, your financial system, control over your investments. It's always about control. And when you have a bank talking about that they're for central bank digital currencies and they're talking about that it's for the people, it's for the so-and-so, times of uncertainty, it has nothing to do with that at all. It has to do with during a time of uncertainty, when the bank looks like it could be faltering, that they'll be able to simply drain money from your accounts or drain money from some other things or simply be able to lower interest rates. It has all the things to do with this. If you've ever, and I'll give it to you this way as well. If you've ever flown overseas and either have or forgot to tell your bank you were flying overseas and you used your card in a different country, what happens to your card? I know a couple of people said it out loud. Your card gets locked immediately. I remember this happening all the time, no matter which country I went to, having to tell my bank, I'm going to this country. Do not block my account. No problem, sir. We'll add it in on the screen. I get there, take out money, bam, account is locked. This happens all the time. It has to do with the fact that I went to another country without the bank, not they didn't even know. Is that my money isn't really my money as long as it's custodied with them. And I'm supposed to tell them about every single movement like I told you before. If you buy overseas real estate, they do the exact same thing. I had my money stopped 3 times. They call you, they email you, they try to validate that it's actually you. Can you give me this number? Can you tell me the name of your mother? Can you tell me the so-and-so? Just to be able to make sure that they know where your money is going. It has to do with the entire money laundering thing. They always want to know where stuff is. And you have no, there are no borders in this when everything is completely digital. They always know where your money is going. And also, if you happen to be in an area where they don't want you to be using your money, you can't do so. Imagine flying into a country which is currently under sanctions with a central bank digital currency, and your phone, which also has your digital wallet on it, or your phone, or your card, finds out that you're actually in that country as you're trying to pay, and it gets shut off. Hey, in a text, we received information that you recently flew into X. Your account will be blocked while you're there, and we hope you enjoy your stay. This already happens now, and that's with physical cash. Like, you are doing something illegal if you try to send them cash in some sort of way to these countries that are under sanctions. Imagine doing that when everything is digital and you can't swap out of that digital currency in that country, or the moment you enter that country through Wi-Fi and GPS, because this is also a way that you're tracked. For those of you who don't know, if you ever walked through a city before and realized that your phone has automatically linked to the Wi-Fi, you may not know this, but there's actually a database that collects exactly who links up to that Wi-Fi and exactly at what time. And when it pings to your phone and you get that information, as opposed to pinging to cell towers, it pings to the actual Wi-Fi system that is currently available around you, and it records exactly which phone linked up to it around that time. So you may be walking rapidly down the street. I've had this situation many times. If I have my normal 4G on, I'm walking down the street, and you end up getting, like, you look at your phone for that second, and you see that you're on Wi-Fi, you're on some type of public Wi-Fi. It also allows them, in some essence of way, to be able to track exactly where you were and at what time. We know that at 14:35, you were on this street at this time because it pinged to this tower, and we saw your number associated with the phone that was linked to the actual Wi-Fi. Isn't it crazy? A lot of people don't realize how tracked we already are. It all has to do with them making sure that they have control. But we're at the point where they want complete control. It's no longer like they're okay with having part of the cake. They want the cake, they want the oven, they want the bakery, and they want you to be able to stand outside of it and have to beg them to come inside. Anyway, we keep getting news like this. We are going to have a central bank digital currency relatively soon. I can feel it in my bones. There's far too much support for this. If you were around in 2007, 16, 17, and 18, nearly every government came forward and said, no, these cannot happen. We will not let these happen. They're so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. I think Japan even came forward and told other countries not to do it. The US told other countries not to do it. It was a really big thing. The European Central Bank came forward and they were like, no. And I think the first domino was when Coinbase announced that they were going to be launching Libra. everyone was like, we hate Libra. And then remember about 6 weeks later, was it Mark Carney? The head of the British central bank? It was a British something banker. He came out in support of Libra and said, it's not that bad. You know, as long as we regulate it, we can be friends with them. And I said, this lets me know that there's some type of thing happening behind the scenes where they're making sure that they're going to start building all of this up. Not to mention, what is it, the Bahamas? Europe is constantly in discussions about a central bank digital currency. We keep getting the news, even though it's probably not going to pass in those bills, about the universal basic income through the actual usage of a US dollar coin within the States. These discussions are happening en masse now. So we're going to have them eventually. Like I said, I give it 3 years. And in those 3 years, I do hope, I know it's not going to happen. 2 things. I do hope that people understand the usage of crypto more and what crypto is for, the original intent of it. The other side is Bitcoin needs, within those 3 years, if not sooner, to pass by 50,000. We need a $1 trillion Bitcoin market cap for people to be hyper interested in the market. $1 trillion is worth more than many countries on this planet. It's worth more than a lot of the GDPs of the countries on this planet, and it is a psychological step that if we take that, people will see Bitcoin as a major powerhouse in the actual financial markets. And that'll basically solidify this huge cocoon around it as a the narrative of a safe haven asset will kind of be cemented, if you will. But we have, we need to hit these numbers in order for that to be, because once we have that narrative complete, and once we have markets kind of going up and more people are interested in the market, that'll cause governments to become more afraid of cryptocurrencies, but this will also cause more people to kind of flow into the market. It's a whole discussion. Anyway, I think this is it is on dnb.nl. It says digital currencies issued by central banks can protect public interests and payment systems. No. There's no public interest in a central bank digital currency when something, it's not even the discussion of a centralized payment system. It is just centralized. There's a difference between someone being able to print billions of dollars, like actual paper money, and distributing it amongst people, being able to do what they want, when they want, at whatever time. There's also another thing when it is completely tethered in some sort of way, your phone Wi-Fi-ly tethered directly to their banking system, and they can tell you when and you can't do this. I have a lot more to say, but let's move on. Next up, Binomial. Why do they have such weird names? Binomial is the latest cryptocurrency exchange to receive the green light from the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, or the CFTC, for offering U.S. Bitcoin futures and options as designated contract markets. Announced on the 20th of April, the derivatives contracts are to be margined and physically delivered, which means that traders will get Bitcoin after the final settlement of the contract. That is probably the only real silver lining here. Is that the actual physical movement of Bitcoin, which is something that we also discussed before, not only for the other physical Bitcoin futures from Bakkt, but it's also the actual, there are tons of institutions right now, or whatever, I don't know what word you ever decide to use, that are making sure that when things are going back and forth, that they're using the actual Bitcoin. The narrative for Bitcoin as digital gold, i.e. Bitcoin maybe not being used as an actual payment method for a very long time, has grown very strong. And as such, you need Bitcoin to actually move back and forth physically in order for it to be used, and therefore for it to maintain its value, if you kind of want to simplify it in that way. It says, even though the launch date of derivatives trading is still not formally announced, the exchange will begin with user acceptance testing for trading and delivery later this month. They said, we are building the Bitcoin product complex, a suite of interrelated financial products starting with quarterly Bitcoin futures, micro futures, and options. Additionally, our products initially trade on 37% margin and are settled on chain instead of book entry. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's okay. All right, this is looking more interesting as time goes on. February report. Okay. Yeah, so another physical Bitcoin futures will be coming out. The other side of that is another Bitcoin futures will be coming out because we've had news before that for some reason, right, Bitcoin futures seemingly dictate the movement of price of Bitcoin, which also makes no sense because imagine, nope, I won't even say that out loud. It makes no sense that some other people betting on Bitcoin's price would affect Bitcoin's price in real time at the expiry or beginning of a contract. It just logically doesn't really make a lot of sense. But I guess the other part is, I'm going to assume we're going to get more news about this as it draws closer, as they're actually going to open. If a lot of this is happening on chain, that'd be absolutely incredible as well, as opposed to book entries, and then at the end of it, you actually get the Bitcoin. If this is happening, swapping back and forth on chain, that could mean a lot of movement in daily numbers for Bitcoin. Here's the actual blog post from Bitnomial. It says CFTC approves Bitcoin Nomial exchange for US Bitcoin futures and options trading with margin and physical delivery. Wonderful. Great for them. Let's move on. And to finish things off, Gemini, a licensed cryptocurrency custodian and exchange, has achieved a new feat in the cryptocurrency industry. In a blog post on Tuesday, the company revealed it has completed an SOC1 Type 1 examination. SOC is known as a System and Organization Controls Examination, which is usually required for companies that play a part in their customers' financial reporting. As per Gemini, the examination will cover the customer reporting, including commercial operations of both its custody and exchange platforms. The SOC1 Type 1 examination was held by Deloitte and Touche, one of the big four accounting firms. Per the report, the crypto company is now the first in the industry to adopt this level of operational compliance. Wow, that's wonderful. The major purpose of such an examination is to prevent the potential risk of data error, omissions, as well as loss. With the capability to independently validate customer reporting, the crypto company is enabling a more secure environment for users. The System and Organization Controls is an achievement organized or recognized internationally within the traditional financial services sector. Crypto companies added such features as vital to its operations, partially its crypto exchanges. While I think a lot of this is interesting, a large part of it has to do with what's the word? It has to do with compliance, and it has to do with reporting of happenings within said cryptocurrency exchange. I enjoy their track record. No matter what news we get about the Gemini twins, it's just always on that same level. I don't think I have more to say. There's a lot more that I want to say, but if you've paid attention before, the Gemini twins, they're very consistent in what they do. And I assume this will continue for quite some time because they are the Gemini twins. Yeah. I'm just going to move on from that because my brain is just kind of telling me to do so. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Now bear with me. I'm going to try and do this one. Sneeze 2 I have on hold. URL Michelle and Creole. Lino with crypto on. Machonisa Tigara. Cake of me bake. 17 medic arf. Staff corner monks fitness anytime. Face boat Mick Bodie. Crypto TS. Day leg skips Kyle. Oh, that's cool. Day leg skips Kyle. And day every chest hits Miller. That sounds aggressive. Coins minting, Fox Jeremy, Gardner Jim, Charles Anthony, Mangialavori Nick, Paxis. I can't do that one backwards. It's suck up is it? Shipmate Beer and Crypto, Impaler the Vlad, 3 Rich Richie, Kanaya Nick. I can't do Setsuna backwards nor Damien. Love 1 Peace 1 Earth 1 Nicholas. D3 Cole D Artist Crypto. Adobo, can't do that backwards. WorkNet Roll Bank. Joe Crypto. World the 242222. Owl Nightwise. Schneider Jared. Niels Brady. Thailand and Ventures Master. Maroney Mohair. Sick Gray Adam. Ooh, okay. Mullis Tom. Mining's Bones Bear. This is giving me a headache. Bibliophobia A. I can't do that backwards as well. Reader Animal The. Sarson John. Nostromo. Can't do that backwards. Tsongololo Chongololo. I can do that one backwards. Gorsica Josh. Stoyer Martin. Vineyard Josh. Head Pot The. XRP High. Man Moon. Harari Yasha. And University Bot Gun from Wally Professor. I'm glad you all stuck around for that because that was so difficult. Thank you all very, very much for your support. I wanted to do that backwards for so long. You have no idea. I've sat here many times and I've almost started it and I'm like, no, I won't do it. Now's not the time. I wanted to say the names backwards for so long just to see what would happen. I did it. It sounded terrible. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who is a supporter of the channel, who clicked the little join button below. And thank you to every single one of you who has clicked an affiliate link. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. At the moment, for some reason, unbeknownst to us, at the time of me making this video, the cryptocurrency market is up. No real news as to why, but I'm also going to say a little why not. Why shouldn't the market be up? Once again, fundamentals are still there. We see a lot of people turning on their machines to try and mine more Bitcoin as the halving approaches. I believe we are 20 days away, so saith the internet that I read a bit earlier. So maybe just the momentum is kind of there. It could be that maybe stock futures are up. It could be a couple of other things. Who knows? But we are a couple of bucks away from $7,000 per Bitcoin. I see no reason why that should not continue, even with the other slightly negative news articles that we had earlier. Yeah, the market's in green. Don't know how long that's going to last. I hope it continues. I want to see if Bitcoin Diamond's in the running. Nope. Oh, poor Bitcoin Diamond. Still not in the top 50. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.